Welcome to the Sons and Daughters podcast. I am your host, Arden Bevere, and I am joined today with my brother, Addison, and my sister, Julie, sister-in-law.
Yeah.
You know, that'd be weird.
Important for
That
this
would
story.
be weird because we are talking about summer romance since it is the summer.
Yeah.
And, you know, summer romance is a very real thing. And
Summertime romance.
Summertime romance.
Johnny Swim.
Well, what about Summer
That
Love by
song.
Justin Timberlake?
That's a good one, too.
That's a really
But Summertime
good one.
Romance, Johnny Swim, if you haven't heard it, you should listen to it. It's a phenomenal song.
My wife loves Johnny Swim. I actually thought his name was Johnny. It's not, just in case anyone
No,
were
husband and
wondering.
wife team.
Yeah, I know. I thought his name was Johnny. So
That makes sense, though. I get it. Johnny Swim.
Yeah, I know. I thought her name was Swims, but no. All right. But anyways, so back on topic. We are talking about summer romance. And you guys have a little bit of summer romance that brewed up between
Every summer
you
we
two.
have summer romance.
Okay,
that's
well,
good.
Come on.
Well, how about you
This
guys tell us
game
about
There's a
your
reason
first?
why he's between
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
This
For
game
those of
gets
you who
strong
can't
in the
actually see
summer.
us, Arden's separating Julie and I right now.
I have to make sure there's no physical touch going on in this podcast. But can you guys tell me some about your summer romance? You know, how did you guys meet?
It's story time today, right?
Yes,
It's
that
Sons
is.
and Daughters podcast story time edition.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good.
I think our producer would like me saying that.
So how did you guys meet?
Julie?
Well, I feel like you should start.
What?
Yeah.
This always happens when we tell our story.
No,
Couples,
the opposite always
right?
happens. You make
Really?
me start, and
Okay.
then you just kind of like,
Do you guys
not
want me to
quite.
start? I
No.
can start telling
No.
your story.
No.
Arden was like 5. No.
Okay, so it was summer.
Yep.
You came out to Colorado to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother was graduating from an internship here.
Yeah.
And we happened to see each other at church
Yeah.
across the way. Our eyes met. We had a moment, but we didn't talk. We didn't talk at all. And then a couple days later, you messaged me on
MySpace.
MySpace.
Dang, MySpace.
Way back.
It wasn't even a slide into the
I
DM.
think my MySpace song was like, "She's a man-eater."
It probably should have been if it wasn't. So she
song.
she messaged me some mad game. This is before DMs and all that kind of stuff. They were like actual emails. They just went through MySpace.
Yeah.
Sent me this long message, basically testing the waters, and then we.
It wasn't that long. It's like, "Hey, I saw you. I'm sure you saw me.
Wow.
You want to start
I
talking?"
did see you.
Yeah.
So I responded, and I of course I went and checked out your page first because you had your favorite song, you had your picture, you had your top 20 or top 12 or top 16 or top 4, whatever it was as far as your friends on MySpace, right? Remember that?
Yeah,
Your top
no,
4, trying to
I
figure out
do.
who's going to be in your top 4. That
It was like top 10.
well, you could change it just depending on what you want to do.
This
anyway,
is going to be a really
drama.
long
it's going to be a
story.
super long story.
gosh.
We're going to speed it up a little bit for you.
We got to fast
Okay,
forward.
so we proceeded to talk
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
over the next few months, and it became very apparent to me quickly that you were not living for God. Is that a good way to say that?
Yeah, I was a total heathen. I mean, honestly, it was. I believed in God. I had my golden ticket. You'd see me in heaven. But as far as between,
Wait, we would see you in heaven.
well, in my understanding of heaven at the time,
Just kidding.
it was like I was 6.
Only God can judge. Okay, let's keep going.
I was 6. I had signed up, but between, saying yes and when I died, it was kind of like I'll just live my life, and
Yeah,
God is so distant. That was my perception.
and you were a mad player. Like he had
Yeah, I was.
boys all over, dangling them on strings.
Yeah, and it was pretty typical, like deep father wounds, looking for all of the different levels of satisfaction and understanding from attention.
Yeah.
So Ad was just kind of another opportunity to
I was a
find
conquest.
that. He was.
Yeah, the stereotypes were reversed. I was the conquest.
Yeah, he definitely was. And the fact that he was so different than any of the other, I mean, no offense to the guys, but I dated
It's okay. You can say it.
some losers. And I mean, God, I hope I hope they have found their way on their own
Yeah,
journey.
absolutely.
But for me, it was, I was just looking for just the wrong things,
Yeah.
frankly. And
And you were putting on a front. You were lying to me. We were messaging because you wanted to give off this idea of
Yeah.
being a Christian girl because you thought, like, oh, that's what he's looking for is a Christian girl. So you, like, Googled how much time should you spend each day reading your
Well,
Bible
in my
or
defense,
praying?
you did the real Christianese, like, what is your relationship with God?
Absolutely. I was
Like-
testing you. I was testing you.
So yeah, I went to Google. I'm like, relationship with God. So the foundations of our relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're still on
Very-
MySpace.
Hold on,
So
very
that
interesting.
that first summer was not so great. That
No,
summertime
because we
romance.
didn't date.
Also, I had another boyfriend.
You had another boyfriend who you lied about, even though it said in a
Oh my
relationship
gosh,
on
I
your
don't know
profile.
where this podcast is.
Oh,
headed.
it's going somewhere.
Okay.
But so then you reached out to me after some
did.
time. You were like, "Hey, I can't talk to you anymore. I actually do have a boyfriend,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to get feelings for you. So we need to cut this thing off."
Which it was a total drama move. Like
You were probably drunk.
no.
Okay.
But it was real, like, CW. I was just looking for the drama, like... And Addison had not given me what I was looking for, which was just attention and him saying, like, I like you, or I don't know. It was very much like...
There's
I
a
was
lot
just
of nuggets, a lot
lost.
of lessons in this story. You need to listen for them. Okay,
Yeah.
keep going.
I was lost and confused, but I still, even in the midst of all of that, like I saw something in Addison. I saw something so desirable in, I think, just the clarity that he brought to situations where it was like, this is who I am, this is what I believe, and this is the life I'm living. And it kept me hooked, even though I was like, I'm not really interested
Yeah.
in any of that stuff.
So I told you, I was like, "Oh, that's okay." When you said
Yeah.
we need to stop talking because I'm developing feelings for you, I was like, "Okay, that's
Yeah,
great."
so nugget number one, don't play the drama game.
Yeah.
If someone comes at you, if it's the guy or the girl looking to stir up drama for whatever sake, don't play that game.
Don't play games with their summertime romance.
Yeah.
Say what you mean what you say. In fact, people will think that you are actually playing a game because they will be so surprised by your straightforwardness.
I was like, what is this new
You're
game?
like, this is an exciting new dating game. So anyway, we didn't talk for months.
Yeah.
And then you messaged me next summer. So this is the next summer. So a whole year goes by. And
Yeah.
you messaged me, you're like, "Hey, I'm coming out to Colorado for a senior trip. I'd love to hang out with you while I'm there."
Well, and just to give context, I was 17. So I'm 17.
I was 20.
This is my senior year of high school, and I was very far from God and so hopeless. Like there was this well of hopelessness just growing inside of me as I got closer and closer to what would be the next phase of life, which in my mind was going to the state university, same friends, same guys, same drinking, same parties, same everything, basically. And it caused a lot of hopelessness.
Yeah.
And looking back, I see God use that to prepare me for what would be just a like, what is it called when it's like a pressure?
No.
It was like a pressure cooker. What was the next summer? So
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
on to the actual romance summer part.
So you come out
Yeah.
and we're scheduled to go on a date the last night of your trip, and I call you the first day you're coming to Colorado, and I'm like, "Hey, actually I can't do that night. The only night I can do is tonight."
Yeah.
And you were kind of miffed by that, and you were like, "I really don't want to do it. I'll be flying all day." And I was like, "Well, this is my only opportunity." So we went out that night,
Yeah.
and I had two plans for the night because I knew you were a beautiful woman, but I was like, this girl's crazy. So I had a contingency plan. Like, if things got crazy, I had a way to get you home quickly.
Yeah.
And then I also had a plan, and this is a nugget here. I also had a plan of, hey, this is going well, so I'm going to keep this night going, right? And it ended up going well.
Yeah.
And the night progressed, and it was an extraordinary experience. And then we ended up hanging out every single day. My schedule magically cleared, and all my nights became open. And over that week, what all happened, Julie? What all happened in your life over 1 week?
Yeah, so we hung out Sunday night. On Monday is when Addison said he wanted to start dating, which Sunday night he had said the next girl I date is going to be my wife.
Nice.
So it might as well have been a proposal.
Bold move, yes.
And we started dating Monday, and then to be honest, I don't remember like the moment.
It was Wednesday
of,
night.
Okay, good.
It was Wednesday. I remember.
Of like rededication, salvation.
Because I remember I told you, I was like, you don't believe in God. Remember
Yeah.
that? We were outside. I'm like, you don't believe in God.
Yeah.
Because you were giving me the typical Christian answers, and they were devoid of any conviction. I was like, you have no idea what you're talking
Do you have a
about.
piece of paper from Google that you read down?
That she was referring
Just
to.
like, Yep.
Well, what had happened was I had gotten into the habit of being whatever I needed to be for any given situation.
Right. And you were really good at that.
I was really good at it. So I would go into situations and, I mean, with adults, with teachers, with bosses.
People loved you.
With dates. And people loved me because I was what they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
So interacting with you, and all you wanted was Julie. You wanted to know who I was and the depths of who I was and who I wanted to be and what was on my life. And not even what was on my life. You were telling me things about me that I didn't even know. And so much of that was the tangible presence of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
In the midst of that week where we fell in love, I met the Holy Spirit for the first time. And rededicated my life to the Lord. It was
Gave up drugs, all that stuff, miraculously.
And that too, Addison wanted all of it. Like, he wanted to know he just wanted me to feel like we could move forward in freedom in our relationship with just a foundation of honesty and truth. And so
that is the power of confession. Obviously, there's an appropriate time to confess, but what confession does is it takes the enemy's ability to put us in a place of shame, and it gives it to God and says, God, you're the only one who has the right to define me, so I'm not going to allow this failure to define me. I'm going to give this failure to you, and I'm going to allow you to define me.
Yeah. And he would cover it in truth.
Yeah.
Like, those might be decisions that you've made, but that's not who you are. And unfortunately, I still didn't feel like I could trust him. So what I gave him was just enough to feel like I had been honest, but I held back what I considered like extra. Like, well, he thinks he wants it all, but that'll be it. This whole week, getting to know Addison and allowing him to get to know me, and honestly, even getting to know myself in the midst of it, I assumed there would be a break-off point where he would get to a point and say, okay, this has been really great. You're great, but that was actually my limit. Like,
that was the tipping point.
Yeah, like, here's my list of what my wife's going to be, and that was just beyond what I can fit into this box.
Yeah.
So I went through this week with a bit of hesitancy in all of it, thinking like, this has been great, but this will be it.
Yeah.
Like, this will be the day that he kind of sees me for who I actually am.
Yeah.
And then I went home. So we have this week together where everything changes, and then I go back home to my same friends, to my same life, and it was instantly I knew I had to change. I had to remove myself from that situation because, number one, it wasn't appealing to me anymore. I couldn't continue. And I did. I remember trying to go to a party and hang out with my friends, and it just felt so contrary to who I was, to who I had discovered I was. And I was like, I just can't. Like, I can't hang out in this situation. And so we long distance dated over the summer.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that at all?
It was hard. And then you decided, like, I feel like I'm supposed to go to Bible school.
Yeah.
And you ended up going to a very strict Bible school the school didn't allow their people to date. So we had to put our relationship on pause for 275 days. We weren't allowed to talk. We weren't allowed to write letters. We weren't allowed to message each other in any way. Yeah. Other than if we happened to bump into each other, we could have a short conversation. We could not express any feelings, and other people needed to be present. And the only place that we were allowed to happen to bump into each other would be like at church.
Yeah.
So we would do our best to orchestrate these bumping intos. It didn't happen a lot, though, because I was traveling, and then you were traveling with the program that you were in. But what that did is it solidified our relationship. We put our relationship on the altar, and also it was an opportunity for you to find God apart from me, because I had been such a huge part of that initial experience. You needed to find God for yourself because, and this is important for everyone to hear, like, no other person can be God in your life.
Yeah.
A lot of people look to someone else in relationships to give them things that only God can give them, and that will destroy your relationship. And I'm convinced our relationship would have been destroyed if you didn't have that season where you found God completely apart from me. So it ended up being a blessing. I want to make another note, another nugget So yes, I did do some flirting to convert. I did some missionary dating, but there's something that happened in our dynamic that was unique to us, is that I was more confident in who I was than Julie. And I also knew that Julie was searching. So in our dynamic, I was able to influence her. But I didn't go into it to change her. I went into it to reveal something different to her.
Yeah.
But that would have been your choice. That wasn't my, you were the one who had to make a choice. Our relationship could have gone a completely different direction if you wouldn't have made that choice. So you can't go into a relationship thinking you're going to fix that person or change that person. That's their choice.
Yeah.
They have to make that decision to follow Christ if they aren't following him now.
Yeah, and I think too, summer is such a unique time to begin relationships because you're just more open. It's kind of the spirit of summer is an openness and excitement, fun. You're doing things.
A carelessness.
Yeah, and so you're just more open to
It's more carefree.
Yeah,
not careless.
carefree.
Yeah, carefree would be
Hopefully
better.
not careless.
Yeah, careless. Not good.
Hopefully, yeah.
There is a carefreeness though.
Yeah, but and that's fun and great and a wonderful way to start a relationship. But I do think relationships don't get solidified until they come in contact with tension.
Yeah, that's good.
And that was what happened with us, with the feeling like God was telling me to do this Bible school where I knew it would mean separation. And yet, even on the other side of that, believing if this is good, it will still be good.
Absolutely. And if you have this fear like, oh no, our relationship can't go through X, Y, or Z, otherwise it's going to fall apart, well, then that's a good indication that your relationship needs to go to X, Y, and Z to find out if it is something that's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Because life is going to throw some crazy things at your relationship. We've been married now for almost 11 years, and we had this whirlwind fairy tale romance.
Yeah.
But that's not the thing that has sustained us over the last 11 years. It's been those seasons of conviction when we learned to love despite separation and despite difficulty, navigating hormones of pregnancy, navigating the challenges of pregnancy, navigating being young and immature. I was so immature
You were
when
really
we got married.
hormonal when you were pregnant.
I was very
I
hormonal
was
when
gonna
you
say,
were pregnant.
He was saying all pregnant stuff. And then
Y'all,
young,
the struggle
you
is
were
real.
young.
Okay, being 19 and 22 and then 19-year-old pregnant, that's intense. But we went through a lot. We navigated a lot together, and it wasn't the feelings that sustained us. It was the fact that we knew we had weathered hard stuff together.
Yeah.
We had made hard decisions. We decided to be apart for 275 days. And during that time, I wrote you every day, but I couldn't send you the letters. And what it did is it created, I had over 400 pages or something like that worth of letters that I gave to you after those 275 days. And it created in me a conviction, like this is the woman that God has called me to love and called me to lay my life down for. And that's another thing I would share with you. If you're looking at a summertime romance, you're like, is this going to stand the test of time, or is this just going to be a summer fling? Are you willing to lay your life down for that person?
Yeah.
Is this person just nice because they check a few items on your list, or are you willing to give your life for that person? That is the question that you have to answer. So often we make it about I just don't know if this person's right for me. I don't know if this person's going to make me happy. But it's no, could you actually see yourself laying down your life, your ambitions, all of those things for this person?
Yeah.
And what I love about God, and you're like, wait, my ambitions, that's wrong. Well, what I love about God, anything we give up in pursuit of obedience, he restores to us 100 times over. Anything.
Yeah.
In fact, the only things we get to keep in God are the things we freely give away. Only things.
Yeah.
C.S. Lewis once said that. Paraphrase. But it's something like that.
Julie, would you have any other advice just to people really quick, just as they're maybe going through their summer? Just any advice for them?
Yeah, I mean, I think stay open. You never know what situation is going to lead to something else. And
Stay open, but stay safe.
yeah.
Be smart, right? Meet them at a coffee shop.
Okay.
Don't let them
I
pick
should
you up.
ask Addison. I'm sorry.
No. Stay safe.
No, stay. Okay. You need.
Hey, we just need to clarify.
Stay
Yes.
safe.
No back alleys.
Yeah,
But be
that's
open
good.
in the sense of people.
Yeah.
Like Ad said, I hate how in the world of Christianity, people, and to be honest, a lot of times it is females who have this list of things.
Come on, ladies.
And it's like this is what they have to be. And I saw my sister, who was single into her 30s. She had this list, and her husband, her now husband, he is all of those things, but in the ways that she never would have expected. And she didn't have eyes to see.
Yeah. And he's what she needed.
Yeah.
And she didn't realize it.
Yeah. So just allow yourself to have an openness, but also you only end up with one person. Like I know that I am saved, that Addison was knit together for me, like in his mother's womb. And that might feel really intense, but to me, it is so important, the person that you marry. It is so important to God. Like he knows what's ahead of you, and he knows what he has for you, the plans to prosper you. And you have to trust that, and you have to follow that. And don't get caught up in thinking that this is your chance. Like, I don't know, your spouse is second only to your relationship with God in the importance that it plays in your life in the long run. Yeah. So give it the proper weight. Like, it's great to have fun. It's great to be open, but there's a weight to it.
There is. And that's why you shouldn't have a summertime romance with someone that you don't see as marriage potential.
Yeah.
Just laying your life down.
Yeah, just don't do it. And it's okay to explore that for a few weeks and go on some dates and have a casual relationship, but don't go deeper with someone if you're like, oh yeah, no, this isn't going to work long term. But I want to have a good time. I have some emotional needs that need to be met. It's summer. I should have fun. I should be able to explore. And don't do that. Yeah. I mean, it's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. So be wise with how you steward your heart, how you steward other people's hearts, because I know it sounds cliche, but that person was designed for another purpose and for another person. And your interaction with them is a part of God's design and plan for their lives. But if you're not the person they're supposed to be with, you don't want to mess with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. I feel like I just got to just sit here and enjoy your guys' story time, laugh through it. I feel like MySpace should come back for so many
Didn't
reasons.
they try? They did. Like Justin Timberlake invested in it or something, right?
I think they tried to make it come back. But
full circle.
It's summer love. So awesome. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm sure you guys have taken a lot from this and you enjoyed their story. I know that we would love to hear from you guys, so please make sure to subscribe. Comment on here. Maybe you guys have some funny stories of your own of how you met your significant other. But we would just love to hear from you guys. So please make sure to subscribe, click the like button, and make sure that you do not miss our next episode. And we appreciate you guys. We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye.